Now, you may remember in our map video a few videos back how we zoomed into a part of the map. We can do the same thing with text, and that's what we're going to do here, and we're going to highlight it as well. So this is based on that same technique, but taking it to the next level. So the reason you might want to do this is that you want to show a document on screen, but you don't expect your audience to actually read the entire document during the video. You want them to read a specific part of it. And that's what we're going to do here to tell the story of Time is Brain. So, like we did with that map video, the first thing I want to do is capture this top bar. Again, better ways to do this, but this is fast and simple. So I grab that screen capture, and now I am going to paste it. And we can see we got a little bit like that. Let's go ahead and resize that. And there we go. Now I have that banner up there, and I'm going to right click on it and choose to bring it to the front. And again, the reason I have to do that is that the banner itself is part of the template. Basically, it's like the letterhead that the slide is built on. So now I've got that. I've got this. We're coming in on a fade from our ambulance video. So now let's duplicate this just like we did with that other one. So I go over to slide sorter. I click on my slide here and I hit Control D. And now I have a duplicate copy of this slide. And now I can select this screen capture of text and I am going to make it a lot bigger. So I click on the corner and drag it. And great, now I've got this bigger piece of text. The actual part that I want to highlight is the number of brain cells that are lost per time while a stroke is happening, that last sentence there. So we can see that. Actually, I want to get the text all width matched. So we're going to shrink that a little bit. And there we go. So this is a lot better. And now we can turn on our transition. And of course, this is once again a time for morph because we're zipping in from the previous slide. So I choose morph. There's our preview. We zoom in, we center, and that is great. Still a lot of text on that slide that we want to look at. So we want to draw our attention to this particular sentence here that says the typical patient loses 1.9 million neurons each minute in which a stroke is untreated. So we're going to go to Insert. We're going to go to Shapes, and I'm going to grab a rectangle here. And now I am going to draw a rectangle around this line. Now, you may have noticed earlier that we have a text function for highlighters. And that is great, but that highlighter function is for working with text. And technically, this is not text. This is a picture because it's a screen capture. So that's why I'm not using that highlight tool. But anyway, you see I put this shape on top of the text and now we can't see it. That's okay. We're going to fix that now. So I right click on that shape. And when I right click on the shape, now we're going to go to Format Shape. Let's hide my animation pane because I'm not using that right now. And we can see that we can adjust some of the different things, similar to what we did with that dot at the very beginning of the video. First thing, I want to set my solid fill from red. I want to change that to a bright sort of yellow highlighter type of color. I still can't see my text, but we're getting closer. Now we have this transparency option, and the transparency option lets you decide just how opaque that shape is going to be. So as I drag this all the way to 100%, now we can't see any of the yellow because it's completely invisible. It's completely transparent. We can drag that around until we figure out just how much of the highlighter color we want versus how much of the text we want to come through. And I find this generally works at about 65% or so. Well, it's a little gray there, so let's take it up to 70. The thing is, you're going to want to, again, experiment with this with your own color schemes and figure out what works for you. Definitely try it out. So we also now have this red line around here. So let's, again, go back to our format shape, and we're going to get rid of that line altogether. So now we have just this yellow rectangle around our text, and I can drag it around a little bit. I can move it around just like I could another shape. Let's also just fuzz that edge just a tiny bit, kind of like a real highlighter would. So I'm going to go over into my effects section. Again, we are going to hit our soft edges, my presets. We can go to soft edge. We're going to set it to 1 point. And there we go. Now we are really calling that out. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Going to go back to my my previous slide here. We are going to hit our slideshow. Actually, we're just going to start on this slide from current slide. Let's look at that effect. It morphed nicely, but our highlighter jumped around a little bit. And that's because the morph is trying to figure out exactly what to do with that. Let's make that a little bit better. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of having that highlighter just fall into the morph, I'm going to right click on it, or actually I'm just going to click on it. Now I'm going to go to animations, and we're going to make that fade in. We're going to have it fade in with previous, and we're going to put in a delay of, let's call it a half a second. So what this now allows it is that morph can go ahead and take place, settle in, and then our highlighter comes into play. So let's again take a look at our real preview. We're going to click on that. There's our morph, and there's our highlighting coming right in on top of that, giving us, again, that sort of compelling view.